Come on in. Come on in. Let's have breakfast. What am I looking for? Will that go down in there? Oh, it will. If you're watching, say hello. It would be nice to know I'm not just talking to myself. And right now, it appears that I am. There's one person. As much as I enjoy my own company, I prefer yours. Hey, Susan. Scotty Bunches. Hey, Randy. How are you, girl? How you doing? Let me fill up my cup. To the top, to the tippy top. Hey, Shirley. Hey, Faith. Hey, Kim. Hello, Meredith. Hello, Chris. I don't know why I'm talking like that. Yes, it is. It's not just Friday. It's Good Friday. It's a good Friday. All right. Who likes bruschetta? And who pronounces it bruschetta incorrectly? It's bruschetta. Let's get it right, people. Good morning, Kimmy D. Hey, Connie. Hey, Sherry. Hey, Jackie. It's bruschetta, not bruschetta. And if somebody corrects me and says, actually, KJ, you're wrong, I'm going to refer you back to Gordon Ramsay. He calls it bruschetta, I think. I love bruschetta. Now, I believe that bruschetta is actually just the topping, not really the fact. I used to think it was the bread with the topping, but it's actually just the topping is the bruschetta because you can put it on top of chicken. Or you can put it on top of anything. I mean, you could put it on top of cheesecake for all I care, but I wouldn't recommend that. I love it. You say it right, Meredith. Look at you. Bruschetta. This is how I make mine. Okay, before I got healthy, listen, this is what I used to do. I used to love bruschetta so much. And you know, when you go to the grocery store, and if you've ever been to Lowe's Foods, they actually chase you around with a what is that thing called? The baguette. They will chase you around the store. The last time if you go into Lowe's Foods around 5 p.m. here in North Carolina, there is a lady, at least the one in Bethlehem. It does. I'm promoting Aldi today. There is a lady that walks around with hot baguette. And she's like, fresh baguette. I just took it out of the oven. You want it? The last time I was in there, she literally had it like right here in my face. I was like, whoa, I don't eat that. She goes, what do you mean you don't eat that? Please take that hot bread out of my face because I'm going to have to hit you with that baguette. It smells too good. She was like, but it's fresh. I just took it out of the oven. She's literally walking around offering it to people. I'm like, Marin even said, oh, Mom, can we get that? I said, no. Okay, no, you cannot. No, I don't care. Let me shut off my notifications. Hopefully I'm back. Sorry about that. Okay, there. So anyway, when I lived in Maine and I used to make bruschetta all the time, I would buy the baguette and I would slice it up. My phone rang and it shut my camera off. Why, I don't know, but I would slice it up into, inch slices, and then I fry it up in a frying pan, right? Susan is smart. I would fry it up in a frying pan in butter until it was crispy, and then I would top it with this, and I would slice the fresh mozzarella on top. Listen, it was a dream come true, okay? But I would eat most of a baguette and most of a stick of butter. Not lying. I wish I was. I wish I was making that up. but I'm not. So, I honestly have not had bruschetta very often since I've been on THM. Now, there is a recipe. I do have a recipe in my cookbook, my no carb easy bread cookbook, using no carb easy bread, and it is good. But I don't have any no carb easy bread made. Ow! I just cut my fingernail. So I'm going to make it this way. I'm going to make it, it's not really bruschetta because it's, I think, well, I mean, it is bruschetta. It's not really, what do they actually call it when it's on the baguette? Is there a different name for it? Well, I always, I've only ever always, I can't speak this morning. I've only ever seen it that way at restaurants on baguette. I don't know what I'm trying to say. What I'm trying to say is I'm going to put it on regular toast. Kind of, sort of. Mary's Gone crackers. Oh, that's a good idea. Using Mary's Gone crackers for a substitute. That's smart. I had a little stem. Oh, thank you, Susan. I think my inflammation is just, it's a good thing I wear these fake fingernails, because if I didn't, I'd have lost a finger by now. Ask my mom about cutting off the end of your finger. She did it once at Christmas. Dad bought her knives for Christmas and didn't put a penny in them, and so she cut her thumb off. Had to be rushed to the ER, missing thumb hanging off. Yes, I have seen it on chicken too. Good, good, good. Good stuff, good stuff. So anyway, I'm going to make it on regular bread, but I'm going to toast up my piece of regular bread. Oh, that's what I was going to say, is I haven't made it on regular bread much ever on THM because mostly I stay away from crossovers. But my new journey, which is very, 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 very much THM focused, but I am focusing a lot on smart crossovers. So I'm having, because they be burning things, baby. Okay. My knife's getting a little dull here. It's not cutting through the tomato like it does on the ad anymore. A smart crossover, get rid of some of the guts, is, so do y'all know what a yes, she did. Does she trim the trees on the 95? Does Mama Joyful do that? I must be missing out on a story she told or something. She trimmed trees on the 95? I don't know this story about my own mother. So smart crossover, get your head on straight, KJ. A smart crossover is a combination of a pulled back E, basically, in not so many words. It's a combination of a pulled back E and a light S. So you're adding extra fat to your, you're adding, like a normal light S might have a couple of teaspoons, like I'm brain cramping. Couple of teaspoons. You're adding a little extra fat to your S meal, but not going like 3 tablespoons of fat, making it big, heavy S. And you're not adding a ton of extra carbs to your S meal. Like you're not adding 45 carbs and combining. You guys, I'm so sorry. I can't talk this morning. A crossover is when you do lots of fats and lots of carbs combined into one meal. This is a little fats and a little carbs combined into one meal, but more than a traditional S and more than a traditional E. It's just a crossover that's smart. Does anybody understand what I'm talking about? Because I can't explain it this morning. If you hire me as your private coach, I will explain it better. I promise. Kind of, sort of. All right. I've got a bunch of baby little wee tomatoes. These are sweet Campari tomatoes. They're not just sweet, they're sinfully sweet. It says so on the package. Sinfully sweet. I've got just a little bit of onion in there, as my friend used to say. She used to pronounce it onion. I got to put some of this garlic in there. This will make my breath smell fabulous. And then it's got to have some good old salt. Gotta get the, where's my salt? Where did it go? It's right here. I already took it out. Less carbs than a traditional E. Correct. So a traditional E has up to 45. This has around 20 or less. So it's got more carbs than an S, but less carbs than a full-blown E. So it's just a lighter crossover is all it is. It's a healthier crossover than we picture crossover as I'm having a big old potato with butter and sour cream and I got cheese and I got popcorn for dessert. It's just a lighter crossover is all it is. A little bit more carbs than an S helper, basically. All right. So that's it. That's all I put in there. Oh, I usually put basil and I don't have any. I have dry, but I usually put fresh basil. So I'm just gonna put dry basil. It won't be the same, but it'll be fine. Where's my basil? Right here. Oh, I always put parsley too. It's definitely, yes, it's a lowercase crossover. There you go, Susan. It's a lowercase crossover. I always put fresh basil in here, but I say I always do, but that's because I don't make this very often. If I had fresh basil, I would put it in here. Except fresh basil smells like pee, so I don't keep it in my house. Am I the only one that thinks that? They plant fresh basil and then walk by it and they're like, who peed? Fresh basil smells like pee. I can't decide whether to call it basil or basil, so I'm just going back and forth. Parsley. Obviously, always better with fresh herbs. But still delightful. An S helper, Corey, is, so if I had scrambled eggs and bacon, that's an S. If I add 2 pieces of toast to it, now it's a crossover because I have lots of carbs with my fats. An S helper is adding just a little bit of extra carbs. So up to like 15-ish is a guideline, grams of carbs. So 1 slice of toast with my bacon and eggs would be an S helper. It's just a little bit over the carb limit for an S, but it's still not full-blown E meal. Does that make sense? And it's just S helpers. When you're new to THM, I'm going to put just a drizzle of this in here, and then I will drizzle it over the top of my bruschetta too, but I'm going to let it soak in a little bit of that balsamic for a couple of minutes. Oh, oil. I knew I was like, what am I missing? Oil. You have to have olive oil. Make sure it's just a cheap brand from the grocery store. S helpers and pulled back E's are something that once you've been doing the plan for a while, they're good to start incorporating if you're confused, once you're past the point of understanding the plan, like you've gotten past the confusing part of THM and now you're like, but I want to slice of toast with my S breakfast. You can start to kind of incorporate those extra things. There's my yummy tomato mix. Stop it. It's delicious. All right. Hi, Gina. All right. Sprouted toast from the old Publix. Got to go to the middle. Can't take one of the 2 end slices. Those 2 end slices are alienated from my life. They don't belong. I never eat them. Don't judge me. I do what I want. It's my bread. All right. Let's get the pan scorching. Oh, there's a potato under there that's going to catch on fire if I don't move it, as left over from supper. We get that scorching, and we got to have butter. Got to have butter. It's important. Hey Beth. I almost said, hey KJ, and then I'm like, wait, that's Beth. It's my friend Beth. All right. Bethy's my bestie. She's retro. All right. She's on YouTube, if you can't see her comment. Growing up in Scotland, we had a bread that we would fight over the heel as it was crusty. Well, that I can imagine. There are certain situations where I like crusty, and then certain situations where I don't. Bread is one that I do like crusty, but there's something about the heel of a loaf of bread. I feel like it needs to be alienated. It deserves it. I don't know why. Okay, I don't have an explanation. All right, so you have to have some butter on each side of your bread. That is critical. I know, Jackie. Well, what I usually do is save it till the very end, and then I usually cut it up and put it in something. I know that sounds silly, like a panzanella type thing. Panzanella, is it panzanella? Where it's like bread salad. All right. My protein is going to be some cottage cheese. How much protein is in here? 12 grams and a half cup. So I'm going to have a cup of cottage cheese. I'm going to scoop it into this lovely cup and try to blend it. It's probably not going to work, but I want to try to get it all blended. And my Ninja chopper is dirty. So I'm just going to blend it in here with my immersion blender. And if it doesn't work, well, that won't surprise anyone. So about 1 cup, that's going to be about 25 grams. Plus I have gelatin in my coffee. Listen, a few people told me that I may develop bizarre aversions once I started GLP-1 injections. And can I just tell you, I have developed a couple aversions. One of them is cottage cheese with lumps in it. I have loved cottage cheese since I was a wee babe. I love cottage cheese, but the lumpiness of cottage cheese now completely repulses me. And it started when I started taking the injections. And the other thing that is grossing me out is cream cheese. I kid you not when I say I could open a brick of cream cheese and eat it plain. Just the flavor of cream cheese now, every time I even think about it, I want to start gagging. Oh, she's getting toasty. And there's a trick to making this even better. After you get your bread all toasty, you got to get all toasty. All right, so I'm going to blend this up. Hopefully. It works like a charm. I thought if I put it in the smaller cylinder one, it'll blend it up. Maybe, Shirley. I have loved cottage cheese my whole life. So this is a really bizarre development. And the fact that I'm not liking, I made those Easter eggs last week. I have tried them like multiple times this week and I haven't enjoyed them, not once. So why don't I just get rid of them? I don't know. I have not enjoyed them. That's beautiful. I have a nice smooth, well, now that it went well until that point. I have a nice smooth cottage cheese. I'm going to put that on top of my toast, some of it, and then I'll just eat the rest in a bowl. Oh, I better check my toast. She's probably burnt at this point. Okay, she's crispy and toasted on, ouch, and she's hot on that side. Now I'm going to let it get crispy and toasted on this side. And then this is the most important part of making a proper bruschetta, okay? Change the closed caption, change the cottage cheese into car shoes. All right, this is the most important part of bruschetta. When your toast is almost done, you have to take a teaspoon of butter. You have to. And then you have to scrape it onto the edge of the pan and let it cook around the edges of the butter. Don't flip your toast. Just let it sear. Just let it absorb into. You can move your bread around so that that melty fat gets all in there, but it has to kind of soak around the edges and let it soak in. Just trust me on this, okay? I know of what I speak, but it's a very critical component. See, it's nice and smooth. Looks delicious. All right. Once your toast begins to smoke, It's done. Okay, see? How do you see what that butter around the edges did? Can you see that? Probably not. And now I'm going to slice it to make it feel more like actual baby bruschetta, because I like it on little bite-sized pieces. Not putting fresh mozzarella on there as much as I would like. I just don't have any. If I had some, I probably would. I'm going to put a little bit of this, and then I'm going to top it with my tomato topping, and then I'm going to put the rest of my stuff in a bowl and eat it with my face, because I need to eat all that cottage cheese because I need the protein. Oh, they're so cute. This is going to be yummy, y'all. Just so you know. And oh, here's the other thing. I'm going to take my hot pan and I'm just going to pour a little bit of balsamic in there and let it really quickly just reduce a tiny bit. It only takes like 2 seconds in a hot pan. Literally. That's enough. That's it. It's reduced enough. That's how I always do it. Just reduce it a tiny bit. Oh, this is going to be so good. Now I get my little balsamic reduction. You can reduce it more, but I don't bother. I just reduce it just enough. Yes, I'm going to have it with fermented veggies. It just reduces it enough to thicken it a little without being like a sticky thick, which I like it sticky and thick too, but I just reduce it just enough. Oh my gosh, I gotta eat it. Look at that. You guys, one slice is not gonna make me happy. I want like 8. That is delicious. I'll put the rest of my cottage cheese in here. Fermented veggies, yes, would probably be very good on top of this. I guess what am I trying to say? Technically, this would be a bruschetta bowl, a bruschetta cottage cheese bowl. Look at that. Without even, what is that? When did I do that? Look at that. You could make just that without even the toast, and now it's just an S. Oh, good. That's really good. You should just make that if you don't want an S helper. I guess this is a smart crossover, but really, honestly, it's closer to an S helper because that's the only carb. All right, that's it. I'm gonna go eat my bruschetta breakfast. I can't speak. Breakfast. And then get my butt to work. I have things to do. All right. Thanks for joining me, you guys. Hey, if you're not signed up for Holy Healthy Spring, we start spring Monday. Spring technically starts another day, but in KJ's world, it starts Monday. And I am ready to go. And it's going to be a fabulous month. We're going to talk about adaptability and making sure you're adaptable in your journey and why that's important and how you can be adaptable. It's so good, Beth. It's so good. All right, guys. I'm going to take my stained shirt and go eat my breakfast. I love you. I hope you go sign up for Holy Healthy Spring. Also, chocolate whey protein is back, ladies. Listen, I'm not saying they're going to sell out, but they always sell out. Okay? If you want it's optimized, which means it has a little more oomph in it. It means it's bioequivalent of 48 grams of protein in one serving. And if you haven't had THM chocolate whey, girl, it is so good. And now it's going to be optimized. And it's on sale today through the 4th. I probably shouldn't say they're going to sell out, but they always sell out of the good stuff, the new good stuff. So I shared my link this morning by email and on my Facebook page. I would really appreciate it that if you're going to buy it, you consider using my link because it's a huge support to me and my family. Yes, exactly, Cindy. We're going to talk about being adaptable, like eating pavement cake, like I did yesterday. Eating cake off the pavement is a great example of being adaptable in your journey. Being willing to not just use a plate, but to eat it straight off the pavement. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, you need to go look at yesterday's post, both on, it's not on Instagram, on FaceSpace. You got to go look. All right, I got to go eat before my toast gets soggy. I love you all. Have an amazing Good Friday. Go love on somebody. Be compassionate and forgiving because Jesus was for you. Okay? Don't